Subscribe to Bisbo and press the bell icon. See boring news turn into enjoyable stories. How does a country reward their best scientists? With awards and honor, right? But on October 30th, 1994, 3 policemen arrived early one morning at the Trivandrum house of a celebrated 53-year-old Isro scientist, who until that day was in charge of India's cryogenic technology and had played a key role in launching India's PSLV rocket just a year earlier. When S. Nambi Narayanan opened the door, his life changed forever.
Sir, you have to come with us to the police station. Why? What happened? Is my family okay?
The senior wants to see you. They seated Nambi in the front seat, something never done with detainees who were dumped in the back. But after arriving at the police station, Nambi wasn't given the same respect and waited endlessly to meet the senior, eventually falling asleep on a bench outside his cabin. Next morning, he was rudely awoken and unceremoniously informed.
Wake up, Mr. Nambi Narayanan. Sleep time over. You are under arrest.
Taken to court, Nambi still had no idea why he was being arrested.
What the hell is happening?
Are you going to confess to your crime, Mr. Narayanan?
What crime? I don't even know why I'm being arrested.
It was only then that he was told.
Why? The fact that you have transferred Indian space technology to Pakistan.
When the shell-shocked Nambi refused to plead guilty, he was promptly sentenced to 11 days in custody. Within hours, newspapers were describing him as a traitor,
The man who had sold India's rocket technology to Pakistan.
accusing him of getting entrapped in a honey trap set by 2 women from the Maldives, Mariam Rashida and Fauzia Hassan, apparently working for a neighboring country. The story starts 10 days before Nambi's arrest, when Mariam Rashida, an alleged spy, was arrested by the Kerala police. Supposedly in her possession was secret images of Isro's rocket engines.
Who gave you these drawings? Who is your Pakistani handler?
Based on her alleged confession, another Maldivian, Fauzia Hassan, supposedly Rashida's handler, was also arrested, along with K. Chandrasekharan, the Indian agent for the Russian space agency Glavkosmos, and another Isro scientist D. Sasikumaran, who was posted in Ahmedabad. It was at the Hotel Madras International, according to the IB's DG Sibi Matthews, where the 5 accused met sometime between January 24th and 26, 1994, supposedly in the presence of ISI's Colombo-based Maldivian agent, one Zuhaira, exchanging briefcases full of documents with those filled with cash. The hotel register allegedly also had the name of R.S. Srivastava, who the IB accused of being Kerala IG Raman Srivastava. Meanwhile, Nambi's 11-day judicial custody turned into a month of torment. His dignity and reputation torn into shreds every day by both the police and the media. Charged with violating India's Official Secrets Act, it was alleged that Nambi Narayanan was a key member of the spy ring. His wife and daughter and those who knew Nambi could not believe the allegations. They recalled the incidents that took place 28 years ago in 1966, when Vikram Sarabhai, the then chairman of Isro, made the talented scientist a challenging offer.
I will give you a year's study leave if you get into an Ivy League university in America. You can come back and work with me directly.
Nambi applied and earned a NASA fellowship and was accepted into Princeton University 3 years later for a master's program in chemical rocket propulsion, which the hardworking and brilliant students studied for day and night under Professor Luigi Crocco, a pioneer in the fields of theoretical aerodynamics and rocketry and jet propulsion. Nambi completed his course like a rocket in a record 10 months, and despite being offered a job in the US, he refused.
I want to go back and serve my country.
Once back, Nambi began to develop liquid propellant motors and thrust engines in the mid-1970s. What was needed now was a cryogenic engine to power the third stage of the rocket, enabling Indian satellites to launch in space. Nambi, now a 25-year-old veteran at Isro, was made the director to oversee its development, but was arrested soon after. Was there a larger game at play here? Wait for the twist, it's coming. And please like, share and comment on this video. Back in custody, Nambi was beaten for hours and handcuffed to his bed at night for the month he spent in jail. During interrogation by the IB and Kerala police, he was forced to stand and answer questions for 30 hours on end. as they allegedly tried to extract false accusations with which to implicate another Isro director.
So tell me again, how is A.E. Muthu involved in this? How many times to tell, sir? Muthu is not involved in anything. I am also not involved in anything. Oho, Anganayo.
When he refused, he was beaten until he collapsed and needed to be hospitalized. And even though results from lie detector tests would not have been admissible as evidence in Indian courts, they made him take it multiple times, looking for any semblance of evidence with which to pressurize him.
You sold cryogenic engine drawings of Vikas to Pakistan,
accusing him of meeting the well-known Pakistani nuclear scientist.
When was the first time you met Abdul Salam?
But he passed it each time. Thanks to the media blowing up the case, whenever he was taken to a court hearing, crowd shouted,
Spy!
Spy!
Traitor!
Spy! It was only when the CBI took over the investigations from Kerala's Intelligence Bureau a month after his arrest that the case unraveled like a house of cards. Isro began developing this technology by sidestepping G7 restrictions created to stop the spread of unmanned delivery systems for nuclear weapons. Therefore, India deliberately made the project work transparent so as not to face sanctions from this powerful group, themselves widely distributing the designs of Vikas engines to its contractors. So accusing Nambi of selling a secret was stupid. Secondly, India's efforts to get cryogenic engines from Boris Yeltsin's Soviet Union had collapsed under US pressure. In fact, Nambi had just been appointed to develop it, so accusing him of selling a technology that did not exist in India at that time made no sense. Thirdly, the police's allegation that Pakistan had sent its top nuclear scientist Muhammad Abdul Salam to India was also suspect. Nambi had countered this with irrefutable logic even while in custody.
Wouldn't Pakistan send someone unknown instead of someone famous like him? If India wanted to spy on Pakistan, would we send Abdul Kalam or UR Rao, who would be easily recognized?
Fourthly, the investigators traced the 5 different Chandrasekharans who had stayed in Hotel Madras International on those 3 days. None of them was the person Kerala IB claimed was involved in the case. Fifthly, the CBI also found Nambi's standard of living to be within his pay of 7,300 rupees, making them doubt if he was actually guilty.
Who will keep just a 14-inch black and white TV set in his house if he has the money?
Some of the other accused, Fauzia and Mariam, who were alleged to have made lakhs in the deal, turned out to be hard up for cash as well. Fauzia had borrowed 10,000 rupees for her daughter's school fee from a landlord in Bangalore, while Mariam sold a gold chain for 4,000 to pay for her extended stay. Sixthly, Hotel Fort Manor in Trivandrum, where Kerala IB had accused the Ahmedabad-posted Isro scientist Sasi Kumaran of meeting ISI agent Zuhaira multiple times in 1990, was found by CBI to have been under construction at that time and only began operations 18 months later. And seventh, the alleged 40-kilo consignment of secret documents that was booked on a flight of the Russian cargo company Ural Aviation in Trivandrum had no such entry in customs records. Finally, there was some relief for Nambi when the CBI apologized to the scientist.
We are terribly sorry.
It was 50 days after his arrest that Nambi eventually secured bail. CBI's report had concluded that no secret documents were leaked, none of the accused received any money, and that Kerala IB's interrogation reports were full of contradictions. A little over a year after that, the Chief Judicial Magistrate of Ernakulam,
we have accepted the CBI conclusion that the case was a fabricated one.
Though exonerated by India's premier intelligence agency, the newly elected LDF government of E.K. Nayanar tried to reopen the case to show the incompetence of the previous government, but it came to no avail. After Nambi retired in 2001, the National Human Rights Commission ordered the Kerala government to pay him a compensation of 10 lakh rupees. In 2018, the Supreme Court, based on Nambi's 25-year-long struggle for justice, awarded him a further 50 lakh
for his physical and mental torture and damage to his reputation.
In 2020, the newly elected LDF Kerala government of Pinarayi Vijayan gave him another 1.3 crore. A year earlier, he was awarded the Padma Bhushan by the President of India, Ramnath Kovind. In April 2021, the Justice D.K. Jain committee, set up by the Supreme Court to probe this further, submitted its report. And the day we uploaded this story, the top court named 18 former police officers in an FIR, accepting almost in toto CBI's recommendations from 1996.
Action must be taken against the officers guilty of framing Nambi Narayanan.
Will the new investigation answer the question of who and why someone framed Nambi and the others? There are two theories. Kerala Police Inspector S. Vijayan was reported to have arrested Mariam Rashida from a lodge in Thiruvananthapuram on charges of overstaying. But that never happened. Rashida had actually gone to meet Vijayan at the police station because she needed to extend her visa.
I have a ticket to leave but may not be able to fly out because there is a band on that day.
Mariam later alleged that the officer had sought sexual favors, which she refused, and was arrested as a consequence, and physically tortured. When Inspector Vijayan allegedly went through her belongings, he found a phone number in her diary. That number turned out to be of D. Sasikumaran, an Isro scientist who worked under Nambi.
What is the number of an Isro scientist doing in your diary?
His wife is a doctor. I went to see her.
The A.K. Anthony faction of the Congress, which was trying to bring down the Karunakaran government of Kerala, used it as an opportunity. As the spy case got bigger with some Malayalam newspapers falling for the salacious details supplied by the Kerala police, the name of I.G. Raman Srivastava, who was close to the Chief Minister, was dragged into the scandal. Finally, Karunakaran had to resign and the scandal had served its purpose. This seems to be a continuing trend in Kerala politics, with scandals, real or imagined, being the cause of the fall of many a government. The second conspiracy is international in nature, that could have happened at the time of Bush 41's administration. Nambi's team had developed the Vikas engine, whose technology was used to launch PSLV. He was also heading the cryogenic engine project, which was to fuel India's future in space, including interplanetary and manned missions, and which later helped take Chandrayaan-1 to the moon in 2008. India does all this at a fraction of the cost of what NASA and ESA charge. Like ISRO's Mars mission cost $74 million, less than the cost of the Hollywood movie Gravity. The West would stand to lose millions of dollars were India to be successful, and that makes it another possibility. Nambi, however, believes in the first theory.
They found the perfect plot to use against Karunakaran with this spy case.
If so, then the IB did more than destroy Nambi's life. They destroyed India's space mission project. Nambi was never given back his old job and sat out the rest of his career glued to a desk job at ISRO's Bangalore facility. The now 79-year-old scientist still longs for justice and answers.
Whatever it is, my career, honor, dignity and happiness were lost.
Now finally he may get his answers and take to task the officers who dragged him into this mess. Bisbo's limerick. The celebrated scientist was caught in a trap. So said the police to give him a bad rap. But as facts tumbled out, it left no doubt that a political vendetta had destroyed ISRO's clout. Subscribe to Bisbo and click on the bell icon to get notified whenever Bisbo releases a new video. Sources of all our information is listed in the video description section.